Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and today I am giving you guys my top 5 picks for Halloween romance. So the 5 books that I chose aren't absolutely about Halloween the holiday, but they're books that I deemed worthy of being read during this time of year. They're either spooky in some sort of way, Halloween is in it in some sort of way, and so I just thought that they would be appropriate to suggest to people if anybody out there is wanting to read some sort of a spooky romance for the Halloween season, which started a long time ago for me, but for normal people it starts now in October. This is one of my favorite things to read is spooky and dark romances, and I have so many that I want to suggest this month, so keep checking back because I have a lot of top 5 videos that I want to do. The first book that I have on my list is called Damaged Gods. It's the first in the Monsters of St. Mark's series by K.C. Cross. I read it a very long time ago. It is about a girl, if I remember correctly. Again, it's been years since I've read this book, but it is about a girl who seems very down on her luck in the beginning, and she is coming from a Halloween party, I believe, and so she's kind of dressed in one of those sexy Halloween outfits, and she's going to a job interview at a cathedral. I can't remember exactly what the job title was or what she thought she was getting into, but I want to say that it was a caretaker for this cathedral. It's like a historic cathedral of some kind. She gets there, she walks across this graveyard into this cathedral, and she starts getting interviewed by this guy. He starts showing her around and stuff, and then all of a sudden he's basically like, "You're hired, I'm out of here." He leaves like he's running for his life. He's super happy about it, and she basically gets stuck there, magically stuck there. So apparently this guy had passed down a curse that he had been dealing with for a very long time, and that curse was basically finding the answer to another curse, which is imprisoning this guy, this like satyr. He looks like a satyr to me, but I think in the book he's called a chimera, but he's got like goat feet and like horns and stuff, and he's always walking around naked. Like, he hates wearing clothes, so his dong is like always hanging out. And she basically gets stuck there to be the next person to commit her life to finding the cure or the how to break this curse that is on this cathedral and everything in it. The previous guy who was trying to find the answer to this curse had a room, like an alchemy room or something, where he was putting all these potions together, doing a bunch of research, and she basically has to pick up where he left off. Now, this satyr chimera thing is kind of an asshole, and they are constantly like, their attitudes are constantly they're kind of always at odds with each other. They're always fighting, and it turns into something more, as those things do. So it's kind of I wouldn't say hate to love, but definitely like annoyed to love. It's very magical. It's very like, there's a lot of Harry Potter vibes. It's kind of spooky with the cathedral and the graveyard and this weird magical mist that appears. So like if you try to run, because she's cursed, if she tries to run, then she is lost in this like weird mist or whatever. And there is, I think, if I remember correctly, there's like a ring or something that she can put on to go outside and like go shopping for food and do like normal things. But there's something about it that prevents her from going too far, I believe. So she has to come back. But anyways, it was a really good read. There is another book in the series. There might be more than another book, but I haven't read that one yet. There's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of like little mysteries kind of sprinkled in there, but mostly it's about these two really getting to know each other and about getting to the bottom of this creepy curse. The next one I have on my list is His Darkest Craving by Tiffany Roberts. So this book is about this woman who is from an abusive relationship, and she flees that relationship and goes into the woods, and she starts renting like this, I think it's like a hunter's cabin or something in the middle of the woods, to kind of be off the grid and hoping that her husband won't find her. Turns out the woods where this cabin is belongs to some sort of a fae king who is under a curse from a fae queen, and the woods that he is supposed to protect, now he is cursed to basically feed on. And so he has to, in order to exist, he has to feed on the animals and things that live in his woods. During this time, he has no physical form. He is basically just like this shadow creature. And when he sees her, or when he feels her come into his woods, he's basically like, wow, that's not a snack, that's a whole meal. And I mean that very literally, like he wants to suck the life out of her. He kind of starts visiting her in his shadow form, and they start doing things like that she thinks are dreams, but they're not, and it's kind of oddly sexy. And then Halloween is coming up, and I guess on Halloween, he can take a physical form. Build up to that day because she doesn't know what he looks like, but she's starting to fall in love with like this shadow creature. And he really wants to take a physical form so they can be, you know, physical. And so there's a lot of build up to that. And there's a lot of like situations where they have to deal with, you know, the drama surrounding each other. It's a very short read. It's entertaining, enjoyable, fae, spookiness, Halloween, haunted woods. I enjoyed it. The next one I have is Illusions of Grandeur by Katheryn and Kingsley, and it is the first in the Impossible Julian Strand series. This is another one I haven't read the second book for, but the first one, oh, it was so interesting. So basically it is another situation where this girl is getting a job, and she thinks she's getting a job at this museum that used to be the mansion owned by this magician, Julian Strand. And she gets this job there. Turns out his ghost is still around and likes to mess with people. And so as a tour guide, as she's training to be a tour guide, she starts like, you know, getting a good feel of his mansion, which has a mind of its own because Julian Strand is still there. And again, we're kind of dealing with like curses and things like that. And this is a story definitely, I think the author actually says this. She refers to it as a villain romance because Julian Strand is not a good guy. He's very morally gray, possibly morally black. We don't know yet because I haven't read the second book. There's a lot of like, you know, like manipulation, but like in a really sexy way. And there are definitely, again, like twists and turns and things that happen in the relationship and mysteries. And I just thought it was really interesting. Like the entire like atmosphere of the book with like this haunted mansion that is the old house of a magician, secret rooms, magical objects, ghosts. Like I thought it was really cool and it was very sexy, and I'm actually very interested in reading the second book. I don't know why I haven't yet. I think I got sidetracked because at the time that I read the first book it wasn't out yet, and so I forgot all about it until now, until I started building this list of Halloween romances. So hopefully I'll read that soon. Maybe this month. I mean, this is Halloween month, so I have a lot of like dark romance and spooky stuff on my list, so hopefully I'll do that. The next book on my list is Run and Hide by Beatrix Hollow. This one, I just read this, and it was because I was trying to build a good list for Halloween. Basically, we have this girl, she has abilities. She can see further than the average human, and things, because of that, because of her abilities, she attracts supernatural beings. So we kind of start out with her at this concert where she is watching her stepbrother, who she grew up with, is now a famous rock star, and she is watching him perform on stage. He's extremely sexy, obviously. They haven't seen each other for a while. Stuff goes down at this concert. It's very dramatic, and after their reunion, he decides he wants to go on this camping trip with her because she just got this job as a photographer to travel and camp and do photography. And I think it's like some sort of like year-long retreat or contract or something like that. And he wants to come with her. And so he puts his entire tour on pause to go with her. They go on this camping trip together, and without giving too much away, because there's a lot of other stuff, like a lot of supernatural stuff in this book, I just want to say that the way this book opened, obviously the concert, but after the concert, so she and her stepbrother go to her mother and her aunts to, like, they go to meet them. And apparently they're like these famous ghost hunters, and they have like their own TV show. And I just thought it was awesome because I'm a huge fan of like ghost hunting shows, and I actually have a small ghost hunting channel with my friends here on YouTube that we don't keep up very much with because it's very expensive to travel and ghost hunt at places and keep up with that. But we do have a few episodes out. Anyways, I love ghosty stuff. And this definitely had some horror aspects to it. There were a couple of moments where I actually did get goosebumps, which is very hard to do for me because when it comes to horror, if it's not visual or Audible or something like that, like I don't really get scared, but some of the descriptions in this book actually like kind of got me a little, and I loved it. But they kind of get roped into her mom and her aunt want her to embrace her abilities, her like supernatural abilities. And basically are like, if you keep denying it, then things are going to be attracted to you and you're not going to know what to do with it. And things are just going to gravitate towards you, and it's going to be very stressful. So basically they just want her to embrace her abilities. And so they take her on this ghost hunt with them as like guest stars. And it was very creepy because things are indeed attracted to Ava. Her name is Ava. I remembered because I literally finished this book like a few days ago. Things are attracted to Ava. And we kind of get like the first glimpse of that when they are walking around this haunted house, because things definitely happen and it's very creepy. And then the book progresses where they are on this camping trip in these woods and stuff keeps happening. It's a monster romance. It is a spooky romance, and I just thought it was really appropriate for this time of year. The last one I have on the list is one that I mentioned recently because I just finished this book as well. And that is The Horseman of Sleepy Hollow by Rebecca F. Kenney. And this is a novella. I think it's a novella or a short novel. But basically it is a retelling of Sleepy Hollow. It is about Katrina Van Tassel, who is being pressured into finding a suitor and marrying somebody. In her town, she doesn't really have a lot of suitors. She has Brahm and she has Ichabod Crane. And one of them appeals to her mind, one of them appeals to her physical attraction. She doesn't know who to choose. She's kind of frustrated about it, so she kind of leads both of them on. And it eventually leads to them having a fight in the woods where the Horseman shows up. And without giving too much away, she ends up in the Horseman's care after getting injured and realizes that he's not the spooky, scary demon creature that everyone always says he is. And that he does have a heart and that he is under someone's control. Which, if you don't know the story of Sleepy Hollow, the Horseman is under somebody's control. I guess like whoever has... It's kind of different in different stories, but this particular story is surrounding the Doulahan, which is like a fae kind of Irish folktale or myth. He is being controlled by somebody who has a very long list of people that they want to kill. And Katrina kind of starts to like build a relationship with the Horseman and realize that he is actually a really kind soul and that he has no choice in the things that he does. And it just builds up to a very sweet, surprisingly sweet romantic story. The Horseman was nice. Like you wouldn't expect a Sleepy Hollow retelling to make the Horseman like really cute and adorable and nice, but he's very sweet and very caring, and I don't know, their relationship was cute. So I really enjoyed it, and I would absolutely recommend it. Baby, stop. Baby, stop. Chill. Anyways, those are the top 5 Halloween romances that I have read so far. I have a big list of other romances that are appropriate for the month that I'm reading, and by the end of the month, hopefully I will have a wrap-up that is worthy of the spooky season. So I really hope that if you guys are not subscribed, that you like, subscribe, comment below if you guys have any other suggestions for Halloween romances or anything in the spooky romance genre. I will absolutely be taking them because I want a very big list, not just for this year, but for next year as well. Come back here on October, Friday the 13th. I will have a really spooky, really gory romance list for you guys on that day. And I have so much more planned, so I really hope that you like, subscribe, comment if you have any suggestions for me, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!